The rich and happy secrecy that once enshrined her, as if in a silver bower, apart in a bright nest of thoughts and dreams, made room for tragic hours of solitude and lonely grief that none could share or know, a body seeing the end too soon of joy and the fragile happiness of its mortal love.
I think it's fragile, but let me.
Fragile.
I think it's fragile, not fragile. But I do want to check it. And did we do all the definitions?
Yes, we did. And we explained also these lines.
Okay, good.
Until the presence was hid. That was until where we had.
Yes, it looks like it's going to be. Here's Cambridge.
Fragile.
Fragile.
So the accent is on the first syllable.
Fragile.
Fragile. Yes.
Fragile. Okay.
Good. So we've got it now.
And the fragile happiness of its mortal love, her quiet visage, still and sweet and calm, her graceful daily acts were now a mask. In vain she looked upon her depths to find a ground of stillness and the spirit's peace.
Good. Well read. I think it's visage. Just visage.
Visage, okay, visage.
Shall I check it?
Yeah, but if you know, it's okay. You don't have to check it.
I'm quite sure.
Okay, so it's visage.
Only thing I'm never fully sure of is British English. So it's yeah, here it is.
Visage.
Visage. Okay.
Now you've got that word, visage.
Visage.
And we explained everything here, right?
Yeah, we did.
Good.
We did.
Good. Okay. So she's looking for this. She's trying to find this stillness. She's trying to find the spirit's peace. But there's this grief and this fragile happiness of mortal love. And we know how fragile it can be.
Yeah.
If someone falls seriously ill, everything becomes sorrow and grief. And Mother says the Lord just laughs. He laughs at everything. And we have to learn to laugh with him.
Yeah.
Not so easy, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now he continues.
Still veiled from her was the silent being within, who sees life's drama pass with unmoved eyes, supports the sorrow of the mind and heart, and bears in human breasts the world and fate. A glimpse of flashes came, the presence was hid.
And have we done presence?
Yes, we did. Last class, that's all we did. We read the entire presence and the half an hour was gone.
Very good, very good, good. So now we are going to continue.
Yeah. Only her violent heart and passionate will were pushed in front to meet the immutable doom. Defenseless, nude, bound to her human lot, they had no means to act, no way to save.
Yes, we very often we use our violent heart and our passionate will to try to stop something. I know with Mary Helen's cancer, I tried everything, absolutely everything. She drank things that tasted to her of burnt rubber tires. and they were supposed to cure cancer.
Mm.
Once I used my entire savings of $10,000 for one injection that was guaranteed to cure her. No way. Didn't. We were scammed at every moment. Right.
Mm.
And so this violent heart and passionate will comes in front to meet
Mm.
this immutable doom. The
Mm.
immutable means not susceptible to change. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
Not subject to change.
Yeah.
So even the violent heart and the passionate will were still defenseless, nude. She's bound to her human lot, and they had no means to act and no way to save.
Mm.
And now he says something very interesting.
These she controlled, nothing was shown outside. She was still to them the child they knew and loved, the sorrowing woman they saw not within. So, last time actually we had discussed, you had asked me to read um, and explain the entire thing to you. That's what we had discussed. Only now I remember. You had actually asked me to go through our previous page and explain it to you. But now that we are into it, maybe I'll make an attempt here.
Okay.
So here he's talking about how she controlled um, all of her lonely grief and or her fear, all of that she controlled, and it was not seen outside at all.
Ah, yes, correct.
And she was still the child to them. Them, as in, I think they mean he means here the Queen Mother and Satyavan's mother and father.
Correct.
So they did not see anything,
Yes.
and they just knew her and loved her for what they saw outside, because she masked all her activities with the daily chores.
Correct.
And these she controlled. Nothing was shown outside. So nothing. Sorry, the sentence was the sorrowing woman. A woman they saw not within. So she was on the inside, though she was doing all the chores outside, and they didn't see any of this. On the inside, she was full of sorrow, and they did not see what was happening within her. So this was an entire world within herself.
And he will continue now, telling us more about her.
No change was in her beautiful motions seen, a worshipped empress, all once vied,
Vied.
vied, vied, a worshipped empress, all once vied to serve. She made herself the diligent serf of all, nor spared the labor of broom and jar and well, or close gentle tending, or to heap the fire of altar and kitchen. No slight task allowed to others that the woman's strength might do.
That her woman's strength might.
That her woman to others, no, again, of altar and kitchen, no slight task allowed to others that her woman's strength might do. So here he's saying that all her motions on the outside, it was as beautiful as before, when it was still summer and when it was still blooming. So there is no change was seen, and I didn't understand the meaning of vied.
Okay, vied.
Vied.
Yeah, that's the past tense of vie, V-I-E.
Okay.
And it means, and there's also vying, which means to strive in competition or rivalry with another.
Okay.
So these two teams vied for the championship.
Got it. Okay. So,
And then she makes herself the diligent serf.
yeah.
Diligent
So,
is persevering quietly.
yeah, yeah. Like very meticulous.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a serf is, of course, we understand what a serf is. It's usually one who is a member of the lower classes, or it's someone who has to perform labor.
Yeah, I felt like more like a servant, like a
It's more
diligent servant.
exactly, it's a servant. Exactly
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. The one sentence which I had confusion in this was a worshipped empress all once weighed to serve. As in
Why?
they are talking
Why?
wide. So
Yeah.
he's talking about how she was in the palace before. She was a worshipped empress there. Is that
Yes. Yes.
okay?
But it's also true here in this hermitage.
Okay.
She's worshipped by the mother and
Uh,
father,
okay.
and, they even want to compete with each other to serve her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she makes herself the
Very
diligent serf
diligent.
of all.
Yeah. And she spared no labor. She did everything. She did the brooming. She attended to the well, I think, for like getting water. Then she attended to gentle tending, like small jobs.
Um, yeah, the small,
Yeah,
little
small
small,
things.
like
Yeah. And she was also present there to put to heap the fire, like put wood into the fire, maybe like collecting the wood and attending to the fire. Because it's also a hermitage, so it is quite possible that they are having yagnas and all of that.
having what?
Yagnas, like the fire.
Yagna, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Of altar and kitchen. So she's also at the altar doing the things, and she's also working in the kitchen to make food.
Right.
No slight task allowed to others. So she was there everywhere. She was present for everyone. That anything her women's strength could do. So all that she could do with her strength, she was still doing it.
But she didn't allow others to do
Yeah,
anything that her
anything.
strength could do.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
In all her acts, a strange divinity shone. Into a simplest movement, she could bring a oneness with earth's glowing robe of light, a lifting up of common acts by love.
Yes. Now
So here,
we have to continue a little bit
yeah, here he's saying that
because
she
the next two lines have been for
is
many of us some of the most beautiful lines in Savitri.
okay.
Because he's speaking of the Divine Mother. So, after a lifting up of common acts by love,
Mm.
next two lines are so important.
All love was hers, and its one heavenly cord bound all to all with her as golden tie.
This tells us so much that the Divine Mother
Mm.
is all love. And here we have that hyphenated word again. And we know that the hyphenated word becomes one word.
Yeah,
The word is really all love.
yeah,
All love was hers,
yeah,
the mother's. And then,
yeah.
of course, he's speaking of Savitri here, but we know it's the mother also.
Mm-hmm.
It's one heavenly cord. So the cord bound all to all with mother as the
Mm.
golden tie.
Mm.
It's so beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
That we are all bound to her
yeah.
and we are all hers. And this heavenly cord that binds us all to her is her golden tie.
Mm.
Okay.
But when her grief to the surface pressed too close, these things, once gracious adjuncts of her joy, seemed meaningless to her, a gleaming shell, or were a round mechanical and void, her body's actions shared not by her will.
Okay, the word is adjuncts. Adjuncts.
Ad, adjuncts.
Adjuncts, yes.
Adjuncts.
An adjunct is something that's connected.
Okay.
So these things, these little things, these simple movements, these women's tasks that we've covered, a broom and jar and
Yeah.
keeping the fire.
Yeah.
Once they were very, very essential things of her joy. They were
Mm.
they were joined to her joy. They were adjuncts of her joy. And now they seem meaningless to her. They're like a gleaming shell or a mechanical round and something empty.
Mm.
Therefore, her body's actions were shared not by her will.
Mm.
So she's just doing things mechanically now
Mm.
because her grief is too close to the surface now. She knows he's going to die.
Yeah.
So we'll carry on a little bit more because
Yeah.
this is so beautiful and I don't want to lose this because it's so valuable for you and for me and for all of us.
Yeah. Always behind this strange divided life, her spirit, like a sea of living fire, possessed her lover and to his body clung, one locked embrace to guard its threatened mate. At night she woke through the slow, silent hours, brooding on the treasure of his bosom and face, hung over the sleep-bound beauty of his brow, or laid her burning cheek upon his feet.
So beautiful. Now we have to, there's a couple of things. When there's an O apostrophe ER, it's one syllable and you cannot
Okay.
pronounce it as over. It's just hung o'er.
Hung over. Okay.
And then the word is brow,
Brow. Okay.
the brow of the head. Huh?
Understood. Yeah.
Okay, so she's brooding now on this great treasure of his body and his face. And she's even hung over the sleep bound beauty of his brow, or she
Mm.
lays her burning cheek upon his feet.
Mm.
Oh, how beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
And then there's more, much more.
Waking at morn, her lips endless. Waking at morn, her lips endlessly clung to his, unwilling ever to separate again,
No,
or lose.
separate. Here it's, if this is a verb now, it's not separate, which means apart, but means to separate, to break apart.
Okay. Unwilling to separate again. Yeah.
Unwilling ever.
Unwilling ever to separate again,
Good.
or lose that honey, or lose that honeyed drain of lingering joy, unwilling to lose his body from her breast, the warm inadequate signs that love must use.
I don't think we have to say more. We've all
Yeah.
felt this. We've all been through this.
Yeah.
Have we not?
Yes.
We don't want to meet a beloved or a lover. We don't want to separate again.
Yes.
We don't want to lose that lingering joy that's like a It's a honey drain, no doubt. It's a drain
Mm,
lingering joy.
mm,
We
mm,
don't want to to pry ourselves loose from the body of our lover. And these
mm,
are just all the warm, inadequate signs that love must use. Oh,
mm,
such a beautiful passage. This is
mm.
so. We can go on still. We
Yes.
have time.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done time, have we not? Yes.
I think we have.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
So
Intolerant of the poverty of time,
no poverty.
poverty,
Poverty.
poverty. Intolerant of the poverty of time, her passion catching at the fugitive hours, willed the expense of centuries in one day, of prodigal love and the surf of ecstasy. Or else she strove even in mortal time to build a little room for timelessness by the deep union of two human lives, her soul secluded shut into his soul. After all was given, she demanded still, even by his strong embrace unsatisfied, she longed to cry, O tender Satyavan, O lover of my soul, give more of love while yet thou canst, to her thou lovest. Imprint thyself for every nerve to keep, that thrills to thee the message of my heart. For soon we part, and who shall know how long before the great wheel in its monstrous round restore us to each other and our love.
Oh, have we done the great wheel? We done the wheel.
No, we have not done the wheel.
So we have to do that now. Have we done Satyavan? I think.
Yes, we have done Satyavan. Yeah.
Okay, good. So all we have to do now is the wheel. So let's do that. And that'll be towards the end. It'll be sort of 420 something.
Yeah. No, I was just looking if there's anything I want to clarify with you in this passage.
Okay.
Yeah, the one which I had a little bit of, which I was a little bit like, what is the sentence? Is to build a little room for timelessness by the deep union of two human lives, her soul secluded, shut into his soul. So basically, she wanted to be one with him in his soul. Is that what they
Yes.
mean?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But then she even demands more.
Yeah.
She's not even satisfied by his strong embrace.
Yeah.
And she wants to ask him to give more,
Yeah.
because he's the lover of her soul.
Yes.
And give more of love while you can. She
Yeah.
wants to do this, but she doesn't do it. She
Yeah.
only longed to cry. She
Yeah.
wanted to tell him that.
Yeah.
She couldn't tell him that because she's kept everything within herself.
Hmm.
And then she also wants to tell him to imprint himself
Yes.
so that every nerve
No.
of her could keep, and it thrills to thee the message of my heart.
Hmm.
For soon we part. Now she's not able to tell him this also. And who shall know how long before the great wheel in its monstrous round. And then we have to go to the next page. So we've gone quite a bit today. Very good.
Yes, we have.
It's not that challenging. You see,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of wording, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
It's a wording that we can easily understand.
Understand. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through this wheel idea. I've talked to you about the wheel before, have I?
No, we have not.
Well, there is an old, we used to call it a Negro spiritual. Now they demand to be called blacks. But Negro was a beautiful word at that time, and there were many Negro spirituals.
Hmm.
And one is about Ezekiel.
Hmm.
Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the sky.
Okay.
The great wheel run by the grace of God, and the little wheel run by the hand of man. A wheel in a wheel, way in the middle of the sky. I'm just paraphrasing, but that's basically it. And now
Okay.
see what this wheel is.
Okay. Who did you say? The Negro spiritual?
It was about Ezekiel saw the wheel.
Z
Ezekiel.
EC. Okay. EC.
Ezekiel. I don't know who he is. He's somebody in Christian faith.
Okay, understood. Okay. The infinite pauses always in the finite. The finite arrives always in the infinite. This is the wheel that circles forever through time and eternity, says Sri Aurobindo in Essays Divine and Human.
And even through this, we can understand that Negro spiritual.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
The infinite pauses always in the finite, and the
Yeah.
finite arrives always in the infinite. And that's the wheel that
Yes.
circles through time and eternity.
Yeah.
Good.
The surface mental individuality is, in consequence, always egocentric. Even its altruism is an enlargement of its ego. The ego is a linchpin invented to hold together the motion of our wheel of nature. The necessity of centralization around the ego continues until there is no longer need for any such device or contrivance because contrivance because there has emerged the true self, the spiritual being, which is at once wheel and motion, and that which holds all together the center and the circumference, he says in the Life Divine. As long as we live in the ignorant seeming, we are the ego and are subject to the modes of nature, enslaved to appearances, bound to the dualities, tossed between good and evil, sin and virtue, grief and joy, pain and pleasure, good fortune and ill fortune, success and failure. We follow helplessly the iron or
Guilt.
guilt and iron round of the wheel of Maya. He who is free inwardly, even doing actions, does nothing at all, says the Gita, for it is nature that works in him under the control of the Lord of nature. Equally, even if he assumes 100 times the body, he is free from any chain of birth or mechanical wheel of existence, since he lives in the unborn and undying spirit and not in the life of the body. The gospel of the Gita reposes upon this fundamental Vedantic truth that all being is the one Brahman and all existence the wheel of Brahman, a divine movement opening out from God and returning to God. All is the expressive activity of nature, and nature a power of the divine which works out the consciousness and will of the divine soul master of her works and inhabitant of her forms. A Godhead is seated in the heart of every man and is the Lord of this mysterious action of nature. And though the spirit of the universe, this one who is all, seems to be turning us on the wheel of the world as if mounted on a machine by the force of Maya, shaping us in our ignorance as the potter shapes a pot, as the weaver a fabric, by more skillful mechanical principle. Yet in the spirit, our own greatest self, and it is according to the real idea, the truth of ourselves, that which is growing in us and finding always new and more adequate forms in birth, after birth, in our animal and human and divine life, in that which we were, that which we are, that which we shall be. It is in accordance with this inner soul truth that, as our opened eyes will discover, we are progressively shaped by this spirit within us in its all wise omnipotence. Wow, that was quite
Yeah.
the passage. Whether we take the modern scientific or the ancient Hindu standpoint, the progress of humanity is a fact. The wheel of Brahma rotates forever, but it does not turn in the same place. Its rotations carry it forward.
Very, very important. We will
Yeah.
have to do our reading next time because
Yes.
I have a
It's time.
call from
Yes.
you
Yes. So
know.
we begin with reading the next time.
Yeah,
And
and the whole passage, so we get the
yes.
full
Yes.
experience of everything that
Yes.
Savitri is going through.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so, so much. And I wish a beautiful healing for the dissolution of the stitch.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you.
Say, love you too, Narad. Take care.